Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we'll talk about the recent maritime encounter between China and the Philippines. So this altercation is a little bit more serious, a little bit more aggressive than the previous ones. There was a scuffle and repeated collisions. The Chinese seized the boats and damaged them with machetes, knives, and hammers. They also seized 8 M4 rifles which were packed in cases, navigation equipment, and other supplies. And a Filipino Navy personnel was wounded. That person lost his finger, he lost his right thumb. And this was all over the news, not just in the Philippines, but also international news. I have seen the video. I'm gonna try and attach that on my video so you can see the actual altercation and the aftermath of this. Another gray zone harassment is that China blamed the Philippines for the confrontation, for that collision, saying the Filipino personnel trespassed into the shoal in defiance of its warnings, but the armed forces of the Philippines rejected China's claims, saying China's collision claim is deceptive and misleading. The Philippines Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. vows to resist China's reckless behavior in the West Philippine Sea. And of course, the Philippines also received support from other countries like the G7 countries. And the US ambassador issued a statement condemning China's actions. As I've mentioned, the G7 nations also voiced their concerns with China's aggression. And one country that's very vocal when it comes to their support for the Philippines is Japan. Japan expressed continuous support to the Philippines. And Yoshida actually issued a statement saying Japan's self-defense forces will always stand on the side of the armed forces of the Philippines, and Japan self-defense forces will deepen its cooperation with the Philippines and like-minded countries. But of course, the Chinese did not like this statement. The Chinese embassy in Japan responded to this by saying that Japan has no right to meddle in China-Philippines maritime issues. Now, this one came from the Associated Press, and I've heard of this just a couple of hours ago. In a recent televised news conference, Philippine President Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s key advisors is squelch. Is that the word? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm going to try to put that on the screen. Speculations that Manila might consider invoking the 1951 treaty. According to Andre Centeno, invoking the treaty has not been considered in their discussion with the President of the Philippines. They consider this incident as a misunderstanding or an accident and stated that they are not yet ready to classify this as an armed attack. In what critics may see as a concession to China, Berzamin, I'm not sure if that's the actual last name. I thought it was Benjamin or something, but I'm going to put it on the screen just to make sure I provide you with the correct information. Berzamin said Marcos approved a recommendation for the government to publicize the schedule when Navy personnel are deployed to transport food, water, and other supplies to the Philippines territorial outpost in the shoal. Now, here is the challenges on this recent another gray zone harassment. China is pushing its own sets of rules, and this was actually implemented on June 15. But these rules are not international rules of the sea. This implies that China wants to place or wants to put the Philippines, which is a sovereign nation, under its laws and regulation. For Filipinos, this is an act of subordination. Filipinos were saying, we might as well become, we might as well be a province of China in that case. And for a lot of Filipinos, probably most Filipinos, I should say, this is unacceptable. And a lot of Filipinos are actually protested on this one. I believe that was just a couple of days ago. And people are saying, Filipinos are saying, we will not yield to this kind of manipulation. Now, another one. China just enforced this trespassing rule, which took effect on June 15. And with this no trespassing rule, under this rule, China can detain foreigners accused for illegally entering Chinese waters up to 60 days without trial. And this is the one that's getting a lot of Filipino fishermen very nervous because, of course, that's where they make a living. And what happens next? They're gonna get arrested now and detained, and they could be detained for up to 60 days without trial. That's very concerning for a lot of Filipinos. China's goal here is to deprive the Philippines of any access to the West Philippine Sea. They demanded that the Philippines should ask for permission or to give notice before they do this resupply mission. And they want the Philippines to give up its rights and entitlement to the West Philippine Sea. And basically telling the Philippines, you can't do anything unless you let us know first. Which looks like looks like that's what the Philippines is gonna start doing. Not directly asking permission to China, but publicly announcing their basically schedule whenever they do this resupply mission. It's somewhat, a lot of Filipinos are saying, isn't that somewhat similar though? And a lot of Filipinos are asking, how far will this go? Sooner or later, China will demand Filipino fishermen to literally get fishing permits to what? Directly to Beijing. And how about the businessman? Any Filipino citizen is going to get to the point where China is going to say, well, any Filipino citizen will have to ask for permission. So what happens to our ships? What happens to our planes, you know? Do we have to also ask permission for that, even though this place, the West Philippine Sea, is a part of our exclusive economic zone? So a lot of Filipinos are asking that question. And looking at what's going on here, unfortunately, looks like the Philippines doesn't really have a lot of options in this dispute. As you can see, the president of the Philippines signed a recommendation to publicize the schedule of this resupply mission. Again, Philippines looks like it's showing tolerance, and I don't think there is really a lot of options for the Philippines. So yes, you're not directly asking for permission or giving notice to China whenever you do this resupply mission, but publicly announcing it is somewhat similar to basically letting China know, okay, we're coming. And as I mentioned, looks like the Philippines don't really have a lot of options. As you can see, Philippines is a small country and really can't defend itself. At this point, the Philippines will have to show tolerance while building up its own military capability. It may also have to look for other allies other than the US, because as you can see, there's a lot of things going on here in the US, and the US is also trying to deter a war from different directions, and really looks like the US is very overwhelmed. And sometimes the reality is you can't always depend or ask for help. You know, it is what it is. So the Philippines will have to try figure out how to really strengthen its own economy. So with that, hopefully it can also start building up its own military. And how is the Philippines going to do that is going to be a really big challenge for the current president of the Philippines. All right, I will be cutting this video here. If you have any comment, you are more than welcome to add that on my comment section below. I'll see you guys on my next video. Goodbye, everyone.